Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and Google just sent over their brand new Pixel 9 Pro Fold. They went with a different naming scheme instead of going with a Pixel 2 because this is their second generation foldable. Now they also sent over an official case. We'll check this out, put it on the phone later on in the video. I'm really excited for this phone. They definitely added a lot of nice premium upgrades from the previous Fold. So let's dive into it. A quick look what comes in the box, then of course some hands-on of this phone, and a lot more content coming soon on this Fold. So be sure to subscribe so you're notified when it goes live. Anyways, let's get started. Here it is, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. It is a really thin box overall. We'll set the case to the side for just a second, but they did go with a new design. They have these pull tabs on each side and just slide the box out that's underneath. The 9 Pro Fold comes in obsidian and porcelain. They did send the porcelain color. Now we're gonna set this to the side for just a second. You do get your standard booklets getting started guide plus your SIM ejection tool. Finally, in the box, a USB Type-C to USB Type-C cable for charging. And on to what you came to see. I can already tell how thin this folding phone is. Flipping it over on the back, the packaging just gives you information about where everything is. Peeling this off reveals the back and that front display. Again, this is the porcelain color. And flipping it over, let's start turning it on. There is that inside display. While it boots up, let's take a closer look at this hardware. Now I will fold this in half, but wanted to give you an idea of how crazy thin this foldable actually is. Now down at the bottom you got your SIM card slot, microphone, one of your speakers, USB Type-C port, and then another microphone. Now let's fold this in half just so you can see the mechanism. And with it being so thin on both sides, it actually comes out to be a really thin phone as well in terms of foldables. Moving along the right side, we have our volume rockers and a power button with an embedded fingerprint scanner. Make note of not only the rounded corners, but the camera bump that is on the back. And then up towards the top here, we've got another microphone. This is an antenna, and then our other speaker. You'll also see the displays don't have a gap. They sit flat on top of each other. And here's just a quick look at the spine. No branding on the spine. Now I want to fold this open so you can see the locking mechanism there. As you can see, very seamless, and up towards the top sits completely flat. A close look at the back, you do have a G for the Google logo, and there is our camera module, a two-tiered triple camera system. Now the cameras on the back aren't quite as good as the ones you get in the Pixel 9 or Pixel 9 Pro. However, you do have a 48 megapixel wide-angle lens, a 10.5 megapixel ultra-wide-angle lens, and then a 10.8 megapixel telephoto lens up to 5 times optical zoom. There is, of course, some new camera features. We'll show those off in just a second. I'm going to run through the startup process and talk about anything that's noteworthy. You do have that fingerprint scanner embedded in the power button, just setting our thumb down. Generally, the physical fingerprint scanners are just very quick and accurate. And honestly, on the 9 Pro, the new ultrasonic one is also very quick and accurate. But you can add more fingerprints if you'd like to, but the right thumb for me just makes a lot of sense. Nice haptic feedback, really subtle, but I do like it so far. But there we go, we're all set up. We can add more. On top of that, you can set up face unlock. There is a front-facing camera on the inside and even the outside as well. So let's try that real quick. I'll try it around the camera and with a ton of light. Hopefully I have this in the viewfinder of the camera, but that was really quick and easy. And these you can have it skip lock screen if you'd like to, and these will work for purchases in the Play Store and even in your banking apps. Discover Google AI at its best. Here's a list of some of the new AI features. We will test those out. I've been using Gemini Live quite a bit, actually. I'll talk about my use case for that in just a second. You can search through your screenshots. Out of frame so you don't see my email, but Google also has car crash detection and Pixel Satellite SOS. You have the option to get instant translations. You can identify music around you with now playing. I always turn that on. Setup always display. I always have that on as well. We are all set up and ready to go with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. In case you're wondering, that front screen is the same as the Pixel 9, so not quite as high resolution as the Pixel 9 Pro. It goes from 60 to 120 hertz refresh rate. You'll see smooth display. Make sure that's checked, but also want to point out, obviously on the left side, you do just get a thicker bezel overall because of that hinge that is installed. This is a 20:9 aspect ratio, so it works just like a normal phone. It's not too tall, so that's somewhat what sets it apart from other phones. It's almost square once you open it up. Now on the inside, the display is actually a little bit better because it goes from 1 to 120 hertz as opposed to 60 to 120 hertz compared to that front screen. It's also just a little bit higher resolution. And now I want to point out, obviously there is a little bit of a crease. It's pretty minimal, to be honest. It's not very noticeable. Obviously in this harsh lighting with the screen off, you can notice it, but when I feel for it, it's not too much of an indent. It's there, don't get me wrong, but Google actually did a pretty good job with this one. In terms of that fingerprint scanner, it's super quick, super accurate as expected. If I'm on the lock screen, just set my thumb down, and when I press it, it will register at the same time and basically go straight to my home screen. Let's take a look at a big one. So those cameras right here. So just snapping some pictures to check the shutter speed seems to be very quick and snappy overall. You do have 2x option and a 5x option for those zoom lenses. Now, of course, with it being a foldable phone, you get options when you press this icon here. So you can take a rear camera selfie, which will turn off this inside display here. So switch screens now, it won't always prompt you for that, but you'll notice that inside display turns off because now this outside display is on, because I can either hold my hand up, it should, there we go, yeah, hold it up, it will recognize it and take a quick selfie, but using all of these front screens, and you can go into different modes, portrait, night sight, you can use all of these different lenses, even the zoom one, hey, that's me. But there's some new options now. Well, obviously dual screen, which will not only show the inside screen, but the outside screen, so you can frame the shot. Everyone can look at how they look when you're taking pictures, but this is the new one right here. So let's go to Made You Look. Now there's multiple options here where there's a little cartoon that will make sounds, it will animate, and let's scroll through those. So you'll see there's a very obvious use case for this if you're trying to get kids to look at the phone, just in general. Obviously, they're not going to look right at the lens. You do get all of the new features, including Add Me to add yourself, long exposure, portrait mode, night sight, panorama, but also want to point out when you swipe up, you do get those Pro settings. So since there's Pro in the name, Google gives you access to that. You don't get that on the 9. Switching over to video, swiping up, you can shoot all the way up to 4K 60 frames per second, so it doesn't get that 8K upscaling that the 9 Pro has. Since you have such a large 8-inch internal display, multitasking such a huge feature. Just swipe up, not all the way, and it will bring up a shortcut. Maybe you want to take some pictures while you're watching a YouTube video. That's absolutely possible. You can resize them. If you double tap, it will flip those apps back and forth. And I noticed if you do rotate, it will put the apps on top and bottom of each other. Not only that, if you swipe up and pause, it gets to the recent apps. You can hit split and then go through your recents to actually select a different app to split screen, but you can also get into your entire app list. This is all obviously Android software features. All right, let's talk about some of those AI features. Gemini Live. Hey, my grass outside is getting a little dry. How often do I need to water it?
It's hard to say without knowing how hot it's been lately. In general, grass needs about an inch of water per week.
It's been really hot and it's getting really brown.
Okay, in that case, you might need to water more like every other day or so. Keep an eye on the forecast. If it looks like it might rain, you can hold off on...
Okay, but you'll see, I've actually been using it quite a bit for very useful things, and it'll even go step by step if I'm asking for it to tell me how to do a task. Pixel Studio uses generative AI to create any sort of image that you want in a bunch of different styles based on any prompt, so you can give it any specific prompt you want. I don't actually think this is going to work, but they've optimized this app for a side-by-side experience. So you're typing on the right. There is apparently the new Pixel 9 Pro Fold. You can have it regenerate an image if you'd like. You can also select different styles, but just giving you a sort of an idea. You can add stickers, add captions, so maybe you want to create an invitation. There's a completely redesigned weather app. It's amazing. It gives you an AI weather report and a ton of information that you're looking for. As promised, let's check out the official case.
All right, and here it is. Very small top piece, of course, but that back piece is a little more prominent. Actually, some nice texture. It's really smooth, but does have just a small amount of grip to it. On the inside, there's some pull tabs to add some adhesive to it so the top piece stays on. Now, this back piece actually has a really nice soft touch felt feel and also says Pixel right there. So let's put our Pixel into the case and check it out. I'm going to leave the pull tabs on just for now, but you'll get a really good idea of what it looks like. So you'll notice that hinge here is wide open, ready for you to open it and still add some protection. So when it's closed, the case lines up. It's actually pretty flush from that front screen. And just a quick look on the right side, the volume rocker's power button's completely open, so it's very easy access to that fingerprint scanner. Down at the bottom, the cutouts look actually perfect, and up at the top, same story. Aside from the pull tabs, the front looks great. It does cover all of the corners. It overlaps the screen just a little bit so you can set it face down. It's not going to scratch the display. A nice ramp up to that camera module. It just looks really flush. Anyways, that's it for me for now on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. A lot more content coming very soon, so be sure to subscribe so you're notified. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and as always, thanks for watching.